It's BudPod episode 2.
Episode 2.
2.
A big thank you.
A new Glenn.
A new Glenn. Difficult second episode.
Episode 27 will kill ourselves.
Imagine if every second episode of most TV shows was traditionally just absolute dog shit.
Yeah. You really got into the characters. You were like, right, it's the West Wing. I see, like, okay, they're kind of rivals. That's who the president is.
Yeah.
Right, and then the second episode is just, the president has diarrhea and can't leave his room.
Yeah. You go, God, this one's entirely about Alison Janney, but not even about her character. It's about the actor Alison Janney.
And the president's having a sort of bottle episode on the on the toilet, a bottom episode.
Bottle episode 2, I think, is one of the boldest things you get. Remember everyone from the pilot? They're not in this.
They're not there. It's just the main guy on his own, just thinking. Just thinking. Horrible.
Yeah, not good stuff.
I was saying to you, I feel weird right now because at the moment in general, I can't stop eating.
Yeah.
And because of the quite random array of things that we have in the house, I've been eating like things with no pattern to them. And that makes me always feel worse. So like a chocolate biscuit, then some salami, then a yogurt, then a, and you just think,
you've been having...
whose life is this?
You are having TV show green room dinner. Yeah. Just Eddie Green. You sort of go, why am I having M&S meeting room sandwiches for dinner? One of those big trays where they come in like 20. I find it so funny when those pop up on Deliveroo. Oh, yeah. Get everyone round. It's England, Senegal. Let's get everyone over. It's like, your sandwiches tonight.
Warm your hands on these roaring sandwiches.
I always find it so funny when, like, Domino's and I know the reason behind this. Whenever Domino's or any fast food place like that has like a little advert sting, like they're sponsoring a sitcom or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'll show like a group of like 20 friends and the doorbell's just gone. They've got a Domino's and they're all sharing one medium pizza.
Yeah.
Just under a slice for all of us each. For my entire dinner.
One medium pizza and then like the worst side.
Yeah.
And again,
go, Domino's do carrot sticks as a side?
And they're like tucking into them without actually eating them.
It's the way they do the sort of like wiggling fingers. Like, oh, here we go. Yeah, but what a treat.
The graduating class of, Lambda 2020.
Yeah.
All going,
120 calories for dinner.
And the guy behind the camera is just like the most bored, like Danish director. Okay, now we're hungry. Hungry for the pizza? Yes. Okay, cut. Like just so dismal. The
reason why is obviously because apparently you're not allowed to show, because of advertising standards, you're not allowed to show people eating Domino's out of a box because they're like, that's not for one person.
Yeah.
There's going to be for loads of you.
The serving size is the smell.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to eat it. You're supposed to smell it through that little
They
dip.
have to show it on one plate and with and that's all you're allowed to show. And you go, then if that's the case, they shouldn't be allowed to advertise it at all.
They shouldn't be allowed to sell it.
Yeah.
If all I'm supposed to do is smell it through the little chimney hole where the dip goes, and that's my dinner.
Yeah, like the like the warnings on cigarette packaging and stuff like that. It should show someone just on the toilet like, fuck, like absolutely fighting for their life.
Someone having to have their turd surgically removed. Like open heart surgery.
Open bum surgery.
Open bum surgery.
And then they drop it into like a little metal tray, like when they remove a bullet in a film.
Clunk. Is that all of it? It better be.
There's crapnel in there.
Crapnel has to be like Vis's Profanosaurus or something. That's perfect. If that's not in there, you've done it.
Good.
You've coined crapnel.
Do you know when I used to do a temp job at Thames Water? It was my first job when I moved to London.
Yeah.
In a bid to I'd quit the radio station I was working at in Sheffield and moved down to leave newsreading and journalism behind and be like, let's go into comedy fully. But I didn't have any connections in comedy whatsoever. I was just doing every open mic night I possibly could. And then, but during the day, obviously just needed to get any temp job. And I had a temp job at Thames Water and everyone there was really, really lovely. And then I got moved to a different office within Thames Water. Right. And everyone there was men in their sort of 50s and 60s who all seemed nice and normal and fine, but they'd all go to the toilet and come back grey and sweating and like just really like real like feverish, I'd say. And
they come back like they'd been on a jungle adventure.
Yeah,
sort of malarial and
It
shocked.
was the people with the worst shits I've ever encountered in my life. And I used to really struggle.
What department was? the department of just
For drinking the Thames department.
There was
taste testers.
The taste testers.
And they get like a big stick like the lint guy, and it was like brown water like jars up. But
and the little kid at the window is going, don't fucking sip it.
I remember I was telling you the other day where I used to walk and talk with like my boss, and I'd go, I'm just going to go to the loo, and he'd go, we'll walk and talk, and he'd walk alongside me, and I'd be like, I hate this because I don't want to go into the bathroom with someone.
Yeah, and they're following me.
The second we went over the threshold, it was like inviting a farting vampire. Because the second we set foot within, like, as soon as you could go legally, we're inside the bathroom, he would just let loose fart-wise. And the loudest farts, but he would carry on talking about being sort of like, so I think that barrier is probably going to be, it's probably about 3 centimeters lower than it needs to be at the moment. Like, but he would just relentless,
unleashing,
drumming farts, just real like low rumbling, like 1,000 drummers. It was
like the Chinese Olympics.
Yeah.
All those guys.
Just, like really muffled drums, just that. And it was just so surreal. And then
drums in the deep.
Drums in the deep. We're woken something. And then he would just go into the cubicle and just be fighting for his life. And it was like...
It sounded like a World War I assault. Just machine gunning and
it was like
splashing. And...
It was like someone accidentally tipping gravel into a canal. It's just bits. It was just, I know this is disgusting, but it was relentless. And there was a guy who looked like the KFC colonel, just like a big, he looked like he could potentially be a Christmas department store Santa.
Right.
And I remember him going into the toilet like just before me and hearing, and he was just such a kind old man, but hearing from the cubicle once, oh, fucking hell. I stood at your urinal. I've had this before. It was like my shoulders were shaking, like my piss was choppy because it was just I was just fucking hell. And it was like, where's the shame? And they'd all come back to the desk like patting their brow with a napkin, like, oh god, oh man, okay, right, we're going to go for lunch now. And he'd be like, are you all okay? It was an entire department with permanent food poisoning.
So you want to say, like, even if you washed your hands, do it like 7 more times, man. Just based on the sounds.
Yeah. It's in me now.
Wash your hair, I think. This is terrible.
If they came back with like a shower cap or they come back just like scrubbing their head with a towel, like, God, was it a bad one, Derek? It was. That was a bad one. So your dinner.
Yeah. I feel more sick, I think, because the variety is not right.
Well, it's just not meals. You're eating smithereens.
I'm having a backstage buffet.
Yeah, backstage buffet.
Where you just go, I'll have an unripe banana.
You're having leaving do dinner.
Yeah.
You're having 3 p.m. leaving do dinner.
It's the latest trend.
Yeah, it's really...
All the hottest people on Instagram are having leaving do dinner.
Yeah, you're having petrol station dinner. It's something you got when the only thing, like, it's the most unglamorous part of comedy is when you find yourself on a Friday night and you know your friends are out at dinner and having nice stuff.
Yeah.
You have dinner at W.H. Smith's. And you go, I didn't even know they sold Ginsters.
You have to get food from the stationery shop.
Yeah.
And you look on Instagram and one of your friends is in a DJ booth.
Yeah.
And one of your friends is in like Napoli.
Yeah. And good I'm eating strawberry pencils for tea from the calculator store. This was the dream.
And handfuls of non-brand jelly babies for me.
Yeah, when I told my parents I was going to pack in being a newsreader, this is what they hoped would be the eventual job.
Yeah, you hurriedly eating strawberry pencils next to an enormous wireframe box of beach balls and toys, stuffed monkeys.
Yeah, and then they always advertise. They sort of go Costa, and you go, "There's a Costa in the petrol station." Great, and you go, "It's a vending machine." And you go, "No, you should have said, would you like to work at Costa?" Like that's what you mean.
Now,
would you like to briefly work at Costa?
Now hiring robot Costa.
Yeah.
And you look on Instagram, and one of your like friends from uni is having a dinner that looks like that old American painting of Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Huge turkey, everyone's got rosy cheeks, all the family are there.
Everyone's on a night out, like the final shot of The Shining, with Jack Nicholson in front of the bed. You go, that's a great party. Why don't my friends own multiple tuxedos? I think the dinner you're having, though, is quite... You must have had this, at the very least in the Isle of Man, certainly in somewhere really hot, like in South Africa. Just crap Saturday night tea that your parents couldn't be bothered to sort of make.
Yes.
So I'd have like cheese and crackers and grapes
Yes.
and like a pepperami on a Saturday.
Yeah. So I remember, I've heard this is called picky tea.
Picky tea, picky bits and dips.
My mum used to just say, it's bits.
Yeah, and you go, the fact that your parents can't even look a child in the eye to say the word dinner because they know it's not true.
Yeah, because there'll be a protest.
Whereas
we loved it, though.
Did you?
I kind of loved it. But we were a very meaty house. At any given point, the amount of meat available in the house was at incredibly high levels.
This wasn't good. This was Billy Bear Ham. Billy Bareham. It was a place name in Billy Bareham. But the worst thing was Saturday night for my parents was their big dinner night where my dad would make just a really elaborate dinner for him and my mum. And so the worst thing was you'd be eating like a dry cracker with this like waft of him trying buff bourguignon for the first time and having a bottle of wine, and because that's what they were preparing for afterwards, and you'd go to bed starving but with the nicest smell you've ever had going into your nostrils.
So Saturday night was lemony snicket night in your house.
Yeah, it was the
Quiet, children.
Yeah, it was the Dursleys night.
And you all had to sleep in one grey bed.
Yeah, and you go, me and Janelle, my sister, we've got other rooms. But no, same bed tonight.
Yeah,
okay.
Same. Yeah, and we've hidden your duvets. Instead, we've got these grey rags.
Well, but this would be the summer, so we wouldn't have a duvet. We'd be sleeping just under the sheet.
Yeah.
Where you go, and I find there's something really unfulfilling about. There's something really unfulfilling about sleeping
when there's no weight.
The sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you feel like you're sleeping under a dead ghost.
It's a really half-hearted ghost.
A little ghost costume that you sleep in.
Yeah, a ghost who's had sex with me has fallen asleep halfway through.
The worst type of ghost.
Yeah. Put some back into it.
Yeah, so I just, that's why I feel weird. The other thing I wanted to say to you is I went to a cafe to get a sandwich, and I think I waited for the sandwich to be finished in the compressy, toasty thing.
Yeah.
I think I waited for it in an extremely disruptive way, but I couldn't wait in a way that was normal. I found myself hovering in a way that I think was making the people doing it more stressed.
How are you meant to? Because I think I wait for sandwich, for instance, unless I'm in a real rush in which I'm watching the oven tick down really slowly.
Yes.
I think I'm John Travolta in Pulp Fiction gif waiting for Uma Thurman where he's got his coat and he's just not like how Elon Musk just stands, where it's just a constant bobbing head.
Doing a little dance.
Yeah, we just go so uncomfortable in your own skin. But were you rigid? Were you rooted to the spot?
So initially I was sort of watching it being made.
Yeah.
But this is like an independent cafe.
Never watch how the panini is made. No. That's what they always say growing up.
They always say, yeah.
Always kind of funny is if they go, what factory was offering that tour?
Yeah, the sausage tour.
Yeah. Oh, we've been on it. I wouldn't recommend.
No, yeah.
The tour guide wasn't very good.
We took the kids. They're vegan now. They're vegan now because they watched the high air pressure hose blasting flesh off the spine of what was a pig.
This is, I mean, in terms of just real sort of...
That's the next 10 years of nightmare sorted for the kids. Good to get that out of the way.
In terms of being forced to witness real animal violence, a friend of mine was brought up in New York, and when he was a kid, his dad, they had a horse that was being taken to, I don't know if it's still called the Knacker's Yard, but his like favourite horse that was going, and I think his dad did a real sort of Gordon Ramsay thing of like, it's important for you to be the one to take the horse to the place, to say goodbye to the horse. And he did. And then at the end, because horse collars are like really expensive apparently, he had to go back and be like, sorry, I need the horse collar back. And they just gave him this like giblet covered. Oh. I know, but as they handed it to him,
crime scene horse collar.
Handed it to him, they heard the biggest bang and they looked over to watch 9/11 happen. I can't think of any more formative child memory.
You can't be serious.
He was on like Staten Island or something like that.
That is insane.
And then just oh my God.
As you're That's really blown my fucking mind. As you're looking at the blood-soaked bridle of your favorite pet.
Yeah.
Just hearing a bang and seeing history change on the horizon.
And also, I think you'd be sort of like, I don't think we should have killed that horse. That's like a time travel thing where they go, I think the past doesn't want to be changed. I think we've done the wrong thing.
that was something's favorite horse.
Yeah, it's like
we don't know what.
When you move into a new flat and in the kitchen is like one switch, but it doesn't have a light on it. You're not sure what the switch does, and you're really worried that if you just flicked it, you'd look outside and the moon's just getting closer. Like, oh no! What?
The more you flick it, the faster the moon's getting.
Yeah. No. It's like shooting the moon in Vice City. Sometimes it's smaller and sometimes it's bigger.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Otherwise, were they just going to mince the fucking reins into the sausages or the horse glue or whatever?
I've no idea what happens to horses. I'm not a horse enthusiast. Not that I'm anti-horse.
I'm allergic.
You're allergic to
horses,
like being near horses.
The hair, being anywhere near them.
I'm just not that fan. I know people call them magnificent. I'm like, don't get it.
I'm afraid of them.
Really, like phobia.
No, well, just because people say like, oh, but they're as smart as a 3-year-old. And I go, I've met 3-year-olds. They're fucking crazy. So you're saying
they're vicious.
Yeah, they're vicious and they're incredibly impulsive and easily startled and easily distracted. So you're going, don't worry, it's the craziest stage of human development in the body of a kind of tank, essentially.
Yeah.
In the body of a creature that has the strength to kick you to death once suddenly.
So don't worry, kicked to death because a 3-year-old kicked you in the head.
Yeah. Just going, don't worry. It's as fickle and insane as a 3-year-old, but it has the strength to kick you to death immediately. Yeah. I'm not being reassured by that. I'm not being charmed by that.
Funny that it's got the intelligence of a 3-year-old as if a really stroppy horse be like, want to watch Batman?
Horses love the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
They are always soothed by him and his presence.
How were you standing?
Initially I was watching this thing being made.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm kind of looming here. But the counter was too close to the chairs of the cafe for me to stand in the middle. I was in the way.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm in the way here. I'll move to the corner. And the corner was in front of the little drinks fridge. And then people are coming to get I'm in the way there again. Next to that was the door. Now I'm in the way of the door. If I wait outside, it looks like, that assassin wants a sandwich. I guess he's outside seeing if he's been followed before he has his sandwich. There was no place for me to go. So I just sort of kept moving. And then that made me seem like I was like so on edge.
It looked like kind of an unprogrammed NPC. And you go, this one doesn't have a daily routine. That guy in Vice City just stands there.
Yeah, or just circles this bench.
Yeah.
So it was like I was pacing. Like I was like, I gotta get this sandwich. Then I gotta get out of town. Everything I did made me look more and more crazy. And because I just got completely in my own head about it.
But, which is worse.
Which is the thing where you go, time to stand normally.
Yeah, and you look like, I feel like a posing mime.
Yeah, or like a life drawing class.
I've never walked weirder than university graduation ceremony. That, I think, was the weirdest one of like, I think I genuinely went right leg, right arm forward. Like when people were learning to march and which one is it? That was like really degrading. And I think I think I shook the guy's hand through the piece of paper he was handing me.
Oh, no.
So it was almost like when someone surreptitiously like gives you, like puts like a $5 in your hat. Yeah, it was like that, but with an entire degree.
With an entire degree, like don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's under my degree hat.
Qualify yourself something nice.
Yeah.
Get yourself a nice job, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got in my own head about it. That's basically been my day. It's like doing admin and some work, but then also just freaking people out in a cafe or not.
Well,
and eating backstage buffet.
This is a Sunday. We're recording on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Very hot day.
Very hot day.
Very sunny day.
Sticky.
Your son likes getting spat on. Sorry. Really unpleasant.
Yeah.
It was meant to be my only day off.
Yeah.
Like relaxed day. And I spent it with so I've got this concept where from a few years ago when I was quite new, me and Adam Hess, the comedian, the comedy writer, back when he was doing like stand-up loads and stuff like that, we were doing like a mini tour together because we were just very, very new. Yeah. And you just sort of go, well, you double your audience by having both of you on and you only have to do half the material that you normally do on a tour. And so we drive all around the country doing these tour shows. It's like back in like 2017, so we're still pretty new. And he had, I think, just had like laser eye surgery, so like couldn't drive, I think, or something like that. And so I had to drive us everywhere. and I'd be driving us to like Leeds from London, and he'd be in a passenger seat.
It's a good 4-hour drive.
Yeah, and he'd be like getting admin done, he'd be writing jokes, he'd be preparing for the show, he'd be just like posting loads on Twitter, and it was big at the time, and sort of like really building his profile, talking to me, just getting his entire life done.
Yeah.
And then I was
with
just,
no distractions.
Yeah, and I was just driving. My job was just steering wheel for 4 hours, in which I'm like, I can't think of anything else. I can't do anything else. And so it then became just, the term became car prison, of like where you're being hurtled towards something. You cannot do anything. People around you are getting stuff done, but you're just in prison for the day.
It's similar to having to stay in and wait for a package, but even worse.
It's exactly that, because at least you can maybe get stuff done within your own home.
Yeah.
But all I could get done was steering wheel.
That's
all I could do.
Was don't hurtle to your own doom.
Ken's job is beach. This was just my job is steering wheel, and I have to do it for hours and hours. And so I was in a situation today where I was running late for today's podcast because at least car prison is sometimes useful, because you go by the end of it, you go, well, I'm in Manchester and I can do the show I'm going to do. I was on a family day out to a place called Bluebell Railway. So we were on a steam train that just takes you to one place and takes you straight back again, and the train broke down. So I was stuck in the countryside.
In a nowhere train.
On a train that I didn't need to be on, a non-transit train, where I was going to be dropped off at the location we just departed at. And so what had started off as like a leisurely sort of thing, because I was on the way here, I was like, well, this is a Sunday. This is the first time we're doing this on a Sunday. Normally, if I'm doing like a podcast recording, it's on a weekday, in which I've been up since very early, because I'm on the Dave Berry Breakfast Show on Absolute Radio each day. So that means getting up very early for a breakfast show. So I was like, my God, I got up at like 8 this morning. That was a lie-in for me. This is the most awake and relaxed you're ever going to see me. And I literally, when we got back from the railway, I dropped Katie and the wretch off at our flat, drove straight to you. And what I thought was going to be a relaxed day was the entire drive. I was like Jesse at the end of Breaking Bad, just when he's screaming to God the whole way. The whole way I was like drenched in sweat. Because we're stuck on a fucking steam train. Steam train.
Screaming about the concept of steam and unreliability. It's very funny to take a train to nowhere back again.
And it's the second time in a week I've been late for somewhere because I was on a novelty train. I was on another family day out last Sunday.
To be late once due to novelty trains.
And we were on like a single file little mini train where you just look like a bear riding a tricycle at the circus. Where everyone over the age of 10 is too big for this train.
Yeah, they've got like bum cheek hanging over the side of the train.
Yeah, and it was fine and it was twee, but the driver overheard me make a joke to Katie about sort of like, apparently the driver's had 2 suicides already, so if he gets a 30-foot tires with, and the driver was like, no, I mean, that was. I was talking about you. It was
such a good joke. You'd be like, oh, that's funny. Imagine the slowness of the day. Come on.
No, but I think people have a habit of like, I mean, are there any like?
Look, if your job is to drive the nowhere tiny train, I'd say you don't have a sense of humor about it.
I think I'd find that one of the most unfulfilling jobs I could possibly have.
It's Sisyphus. You'd have to say to them, your job is, in ancient Greek culture, is a punishment.
Yeah, it's the punishment.
Your job is a punishment.
Yeah, when he goes for his tea break, he has tea up to his chin, and every time he tries to lower his chin, and he's got such a thirst, but only a tea but it just keeps getting lower.
And the biscuits are sort of hanging somehow.
Yeah.
It's like if your job was to have an eagle eat your liver every day.
I feel like you'd get used to Sisyphean punishments. I feel like you would get used to them. The idea whenever you see them portrayed in a film or video and they're screaming loads, you go, you know what's happened to you yesterday?
Yeah.
Why are you scared when you see the ravens coming? Oh, not them.
The agony should be boredom.
Yeah. I've always found with like people with like a really horrific lifestyle hundreds of years ago, and it would be sort of like they got up at this hour and they worked for 19 hours and it was impossible and that was just their life every single day. My attitude has always been like, I couldn't do that for a day, but I could do it for a year.
I think that's right, isn't it? Like you sort of go,
you just get forced into it.
10 years, you just go like, well, I'm like a kind of robot guy.
Yeah.
And this is just what I do. Whereas for a day or even 3, it would be hell.
Yeah.
And because you've tasted freedom and you can read and things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, so being stuck on just in the countryside and also being on one of those trains, that's a very Facebook boomer. I wish life could go back to this. It's better. And it's like, well, it turns out the trains didn't work back then.
Like and share if you remember Proper Steve.
It was just, also, it's like, the train felt fine, but
Yeah.
I just noticed it was like East Midlands Railway, but just all the chairs are brown. That was it.
Yeah,
The
and
chairs
you-
are cloth and brown.
And you face each other.
Yeah, that was literally it. There was no difference apart from there's nothing to plug in. There's no Wi-Fi.
No.
Toilet didn't have a bin. That was it.
It's also that thing of like, it's that thing where everyone goes, so do you remember this? And it's like the first class flight equivalent.
Yeah.
Like a buffet cart with fresh cream cakes. And you go, yeah, that would have cost your year's income.
Yeah.
That one train journey.
It was never for us.
It was never for you. Exactly.
It was for 11 men, and that was it. Yeah. It was
It was for the Minister of India.
But we were in a little cabin in one of those, there's like 3 of you facing another 3 of you, and it's sort of what like you see James Bond getting on or something.
Yeah.
And then the ticket inspector guy came over and was sort of like, this is first class, so you shouldn't really be here, and you need to move down to the other bit. And everybody
You're
wants to go.
kidding.
But this is shit. Like, I know we shouldn't be here, but also know that we're not having a good time. So isn't that?
What are we getting?
Yeah, that's the trade-off. Surely, This isn't nice.
Is it just coal?
Yeah,
Just have to sit on some coal. What are you talking about? That's fucking mental.
Yeah.
Something about working on a train turns people into that, clearly.
Every time I see like a Facebook boomer sort of slop, it's always sort of like, this is what's been taken from us.
Yeah.
And it will be a car that you would expect to find abandoned by the side of a road.
Yeah.
Two of the oldest, most miserable people you've ever seen, who are obviously like 30 in the photo, but look to us 92.
Yeah.
And the man's obviously called Stanley. And they're having a picnic by like the hard shoulder of the A1. And you go, you can do that today.
Yeah, do it now.
You'll get to meet the roadside assistance.
You'll meet several branches of the authorities.
Yeah. But just you can have a crap sandwich here.
You can have Bovril in the rain anywhere you want. No one's stopping this.
It's really gross, really unpleasant.
Send us your Facebook slop, actually. It's always fun to look at.
But all the adverts on these little train stations that we were going through, these old like recreated ones, it was always sort of like, what would make the wife smile? A bit of Bovril on the cheek, gravy on the other, and a kiss upon the neck, and a slap if there's insolence. Or whatever. And you go, what the fuck is that? Why have you still got this up? And it's all really crap. Or they'll just have like the look on a boy's face when he finds out he's eating tannies. And you go, what is tannies? And you look it up and it's like charcoal. And you go, what the fuck?
You look it up and it's boiled syrup and pig tallow. What? Yeah. And there'll be an advert which is like, dirty as a Welshman. Try Crumpleton soap. And it'll be like a filthy Welsh miner with like a really white, clean face.
Yeah, it's just, there's so much advertising for either soap or sweets that come in horrible tins. The amount of money we must have fucking spent on tin back then.
We can only sell sweets in metal.
Yeah. They must have cost so much. It must have been like the hyperinflation crisis where like tin just wasn't worth anything. I gave him a tin of sweets. We took the sweets. They left the tin.
Yeah, it'd be the Seinfeld 1903.
1903
Seinfeld. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, yes, please send us your slop. We'd like to see it. And speaking of slop and filthy Welsh people, our correspondents have messaged in. So we heard about this on Instagram. Someone commented on Instagram. Can't remember who.
Couldn't believe it.
But this is from Pete. Hi, Pierre and Glenn. Really enjoyed the start of season 2. Still makes me laugh. I had to message to mention that Hove actually predates Love Actually by 1 billion years.
Which is insane to me. It's insane. That's like the Armand Hammer man. Like Armie Hammer's uncle was called Armand Hammer and worked for Armand Hammer, but the company wasn't named after him. He just got employed by Armand Hammer.
Insane.
Yeah, and you go,
Insane.
that's not, you got that wrong. It's like we went, the invention of fridges did wonders for the fridge magnet industry. And you go, no, that's not. No.
just the job interview when you're like you work for Bill Gates and there's a guy who's coming in to be interviewed called Microsoft XP or something. Like Microsoft Excel. And you go, your name is Microsoft Excel, and they go, it's
Mike for short. But
it's
short for Michael. No, it's Microsoft.
It's Hungarian.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm surprised as well.
Yeah.
Imagine how we felt when you started using it.
Yeah.
And you go, this can't be right. So, as Pete explains, Brighton used to be a bit of a dump.
Yeah.
And Hove was the posh bit.
Yeah.
So if someone said, oh, you live in Brighton, people would say Hove, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know what that means for the title of the film. Did he choose the title of the film because it was like a kind of posh thing? Ha ha. But it's not set. It's set in London.
It's set in London, and Richard Curtis has got obviously like all his stuff is set in Suffolk. All his stuff is set in Suffolk because I think that's where he lives. So there'd be no reason for him to even necessarily have heard about that. Because whatever that, I mean, my parents live near Brighton. I've never been made aware of this weird town rivalry of like Hove actually. But at the same time, why is it in the keep calm and carry on format?
Yeah,
that we'll never be able to square.
That's still wrong.
I was at my parents' house today, and I was eating breakfast, and I caught my eye in the corner, and the croissant turned to ash in my mouth. I couldn't eat it anymore. It's so bad.
No, keep calm and carry on format is still mad.
Yeah.
And then we've got a message from Matt. Hi, BudPod 2.0.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Welcome, Glenn. Insert joke based on Glenn or more that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
So I guess just imagine
Well,
one.
we haven't really covered the Glenn Roger Moore element either, because that adds a whole wealth of I hate my name.
Yeah. Being called Roger Moore is
But there's still plenty. There's still plenty out there. Feel free to, I'm imagining he said a really funny one. Yeah, that was good. Well done.
Oh.
Yeah, I hadn't,
Here is a door in an alleyway in Hastings, Old Town.
Okay.
It is covered in signs. So I'm just going to flash you the image so you can just see the...
Oh.
Yeah. How would you describe that?
I'd say the font is all blue plaque of Charles Darwin lived here.
Yeah.
That's the font and letter. I don't even know what colour that is. I don't know what the font is of that lettering.
And a good 17 signs nailed to this door.
A hell of a lot. So they're also not in the blue plaque shape. They're just...
No, although
it's just text.
One is, and it just says... I won't say that because I think that's the guy's name. It's like an award for having like a nice alleyway or something.
Oh, is it like one of those sort of small town things where you go, lovely ginnel? Or one of those
Yeah,
words.
yeah.
Ginnel.
Best kept flower bed.
And you never, like, words for alleys, I can never know is it a slang for alley or is it a slang for, like, the taint? And it'd be sort of like, you just go through the gooch to the shops. And I don't think we call it that.
Well, there's a lot of buskers these days in the perineum.
Yeah.
They set up there and they play music.
Yeah, we go through the Biffins Bridge and yeah.
So the main sign just says, no prostitutes here. This is not a brothel. I have seen those around London sometimes. Have you seen those?
That's like a serious thing.
Because often it's because it used to be full of prostitutes and it was a brothel. So someone new's in there now and they're just like...
For God's sake, please stop coming back.
Please stop ringing the doorbell at 3 a.m. with like a boner.
Yeah.
Because you half remember visiting this place.
Is it like a Greg's van where it's like no sex workers kept here overnight? And I wonder if any startup brothels want to put up a sign going, please, sex workers here.
Please.
Come on in.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you live near one?
No.
I think this area's too nice.
I don't know. I think where places I've seen the sign have always been in like Zone 1.
Yeah.
Central London.
Yeah.
So or like one was in Soho near the Honest Burger.
There's one in M&M's World. You can't fuck her. She's an M&M.
There's no hole. Yeah. At most she can
crack the shell.
That kills them. It's canonically true that kills them.
That to them is getting like bitten by a zombie.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you get cracked? No, I didn't.
It is weird when like there's some M&M adverts where they have like a bite out of their head and they're like, no, and you just think you should be screaming.
Yeah.
And then all the M&Ms should be screaming.
Yeah, they're really fine with trauma.
There's a bite out of your head.
Yeah.
And they do seduce humans.
I think life is cheap as an M&M. You're in a packet of hundreds of... Life is really cheap. They go riding motorcycles without helmets.
They're like Soviet infantry.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
They just know.
So there's a bunch of mottos on this door. It's a real nightmare. One of them is art is not for everyone, which is an unusual sentiment to see expressed publicly.
Yeah, because you go, why do you feel the need to... Like, why are you getting the word out? Apathy is a really strange thing to get the word out about.
Yeah. Having a face tattoo that says, I don't care.
Yeah, really.
But you got a face tattoo about it. So you care about this.
Strange to get passionate about something that ultimately isn't. Like I've always imagined getting heckled at the street by someone going, monster raving loony party scum. Monster Raven Party should always just put one like really far right policy in there. As like, stop the boats.
Free custard.
Yeah.
Unless you're an immigrant. And they just think,
Really?
They really snuck this through. Yeah. My name's Lord Bimbletron.
I'm not one to make fun of other comedy because, technically they're peers, they're colleagues.
They're colleagues of ours.
They're colleagues of ours. Monster Raven New Party is absolutely the least funny thing that's ever happened, I think.
Yeah, it's...
In terms of intentionally funny stuff. It's hard work to read the manifesto.
There would have been a time, but that time has passed.
I think it's for Monty Python quotas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
The UK is like one of those countries that it shouldn't bother still producing like copper, but it has some kind of obligation to economically.
Yeah.
So the UK, there is no real international or domestic demand for Monty Python whimsy, but under various treaties and sort of unions and things like we have to. The Monster Raving Looney
There's always
Party.
a place. It's a listed building. There's always a place for it. This is a grade 2 listed Michael Palin.
We'd love to knock it down.
Yeah.
Everyone is sick of it. The council is going bankrupt trying to maintain it, but we have to. We're legally obliged.
Yeah,
to pump out.
They are the Battersea power station of. Won't they ever be made into something else new? Everybody turn into shops. Yeah. A really nice set of boutique Monster Raven Looney Party shops.
Yeah.
Actually, the clothes are really normal. It's got a really nice shirt, but it's from...
There'll be a River Island in one of their big hats.
And you'd feel so fucking stupid going into the Monster Raven Looney Party shop because you'd be like, I just really like they just do jeans in my size. And they're perfect. The cut is perfect. It's straight. It's not like too slim. It's not... It's not...
It's the only place that does a yellow belt. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I just want a yellow belt.
Great. I've always thought it was like what a nightmare it would be if you just fucking loved the food at the Fawlty Towers dining experience. If it was just and you go, the chicken is amazing.
You go in there and there's just like Jay Rayner, Michael Gove.
Yeah, and each time you go in, the cast are like, Manuel's like, I'm not nothing. You just go, you don't have to. I'm just genuinely here. Thank you so much. That is so delicious. Do you mind if I just?
And you're there going, yeah. Could I just? Last week there was this sauce that I don't know quite what it was made of.
This is typical. You don't. No, you don't have to do the bit. I just want to have the jus on the chicken was wonderful.
Yeah.
If I could just have that.
No. Shush. No. Ha. Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. Loved it. But this wasn't first 11 times.
But this was not what it last week. It was sort of almost berry based. It was gravy, but it had to.
He said berry. What is a berry?
Very nice. Very nice.
I played with a customer called Barry. Oh, no.
You go, no, just bring the fuck. And then the Manuel guy leans in really close and just goes, hey, I'll give you a hug. And as he hugs you, he goes, listen, mate, we have to fucking do it for everyone or we do it for no one. If we don't do it for you, the other tables get weird, okay? Just fucking play along.
No one comes for the food. We made the food as shit as possible. It's the driest chicken in the world. No, but the sauce was incredible.
The guy who made the sauce isn't coming back. None of us even knew his real name, okay?
If you tell us what he says dining experience, there's like a bunch of guys in motorcycle helmets waiting to pick up.
Deliveroo.
The amount of fucking we didn't get served because the amount of fucking Uber Eats van, and it really spoiled Valentine's Day. There's 10 Uber Eats drivers.
The Uber Eats guy flicks up his motorcycle visor and it's still John Cleese. Come on! Fucking hell, they're really dedicated. The Fawlty Towers Deliveroo experience. Manuel ringing your doorbell in like a fucking massive rush.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't fucking. Come on.
Yeah, you put in your address and they're like, 38 farty. No, that's my fucking address. Just put the normal fucking address. I just want the food.
Can I come inside? Maybe hit my head on something? No, fuck off. Can I slip over maybe on the... No, just bring the food. Going into the Fawlty Towers dining experience and seeing like a 1 on the cleanliness, the green sign.
Yeah.
1 out of 5, you go, oh God.
Would you stop banking at like NatWest if you saw had the 1-star hygiene rating? You'd be like...
Just go, is there shit on the money?
Yeah.
Like they always say, there's a little bit of there's like X many notes in the London cash machine still have a trace of cocaine on. Is the urban legend you hear.
Yeah.
You just go, but in NatWest they all have shit on. They all have shit on.
Yeah, this is 1 star. We have a hygiene inspector came in and he It was like the beginning of Boiling Point. It was like, you got 1 month to turn this around.
He found mouse droppings in the safe.
Yeah.
Incredible.
No mice, yeah.
How do they get in?
Yeah.
The rest of the door signs, by the way, are just like mental. I mean, I hope there's no other word for it. Self-defense is only given to barbarians, Karl Marx. Unclear. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. What, in your house?
Right. Do you know what this is? This isn't the front of someone's house. This is the back of someone's car. Those are insane bumper stickers, I think.
I get the impression it is the back of a car. But, yeah, just...
You don't want the front of your house to be the back of a car.
You don't want the front of your house to be the back of a car.
I think that's really...
I think that's fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop treating the front of your house like the back of your car.
It would be insane if you went to someone's house and the windows had a baby on board sticker on their house.
Oh, no, so people don't crash their car into the house.
Yeah, so they don't crash a house into the house. What? Was that an Yeah, it happens.
Just so they know not to bump the house with their house.
Yeah. They don't press the doorbell too hard. You hurt he's got a bruise on his head now. We put him at the other end of the doorbell like a Home Alone trap.
We're raising our child as a Flintstones animal. So it's a sort of body job.
You have a Ring doorbell.
I do.
As do I.
Yeah.
The BudPod Patreon has really helped us out on that front. But do you sing anything to the da-da-da? Does it have a... Do you have a... I have Mr. T.
I've done Someone's Here. Which is quite poltergeist.
Yeah.
Someone's here. I'm going to start doing that now, though. Yeah.
Tony Blair.
I wonder if I can modify it to say that.
I'm not. We can have a sound of dogs barking, so I don't think you can necessarily like custom it fully like a ringtone.
We'll just have it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Elton John.
You just see everyone who comes to your house going,
"Is that Elton?" Yeah.
But they're not sure enough of what they heard to ask. Or you've
I
done
don't want to press the doorbell again. It makes me look impatient.
It makes me look insane.
Yeah.
And they're just unsettled. Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. It's time to go and press the Ring doorbell on the VIP room.
Yes. Whispering a Patreon episode.
Yes. Yeah, God. Thank you very much for sending stuff in. Send in Facebook slop, you see. In the VIP zone, I've taken some screenshots of some weird shit I've seen on Instagram.
Yeah.
That we're going to discuss.
Any Jamember stuff?
Any Jamember stuff, boomer nostalgia, always fun to dissect.
Disgusting.
And I recommend looking up on Glenn's your Twitter X feeds about the poem about Brother John.
I'll retweet it on podcast day.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So on Wednesday, go to Glenn's social media and put it on Instagram as well, maybe, in screenshots.
Yep, there we go.
That would be good.
It's my attempt to replicate a boomer poem.
It's so good.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Because it only starts becoming a parody a few paragraphs in, so many people reply.
The replies are a train wreck.
The replies on Twitter, go look them up. I was crying laughing at people going, there was no post on Sundays.
It's just
not
adding
accurate.
their own stuff. Bring
Yeah,
newspaper back to Chippy, free bag chicks. What?
Just going, coal on Wednesdays.
It's people reply.
It was better then.
Like they're listing stuff from the What Three Words. And they're lost in the woods.
People replied like they'd read your tweet while they were asleep.
Yeah.
It was mad. Right, VIP time. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and for enjoying BudPod Season 2.
Thank you. KOJI. That's
KOJI.
my first KOJI. That's my first time saying KOJI.
KOJI.